Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Rana McBerto with your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We're going to have a great show for you today. All kinds of things are happening today. Betty White is no longer here, but you know that kind of a feeling when somebody close to you die, but they're much older. You hold them in great regards, and you feel sad, but at the same time, you know it's all good. ATL checking in, Paul Fleming. Welcome aboard, Paul. Welcome aboard. You're the first one writing on the screen. Where's everybody else? I see a lot of people in the room already, but I don't see you all saying hello. So if you are on YouTube or Facebook or whatever and you want me to call you out, just go ahead and say, hey, Egberto, estoy aquí. I'm here. But anyhow, yeah, I was kind of shocked to see she's dead. 99 years old and... man, 3 weeks away from her birthday to complete that 100, kind of, that's kind of not cool. I wonder, I don't have we don't all know what the results or the reasons why. Lee Grant, hey, Egberto and the posse, how you doing, brother Lee? So we have our progressive and our conservative in here, all sharing the love. Happy, what is the word? Happy New Year's Eve. Let's make sure to make New Year's, the new year that's coming, I'm going to try my best to be a better person. Let's all try our best to be better people. But more than trying our best to be better people, let's try to promote that. All the peeps are starting to show up. Rose Williams, welcome aboard. She says, hi, everyone. Norman Reynolds says, I'm here too. I got it now, Norman. I got it now. May Wood says, happy New Year's to everyone. Melanie Keelan says, good evening, all. The last night of the year. Yes, it's the last night of the year. And you know what? I want you guys to tell me, what is your best story for 2021? What's the best story you want for 2021? And what's the story you want to forget ever occurred in 2021? Why don't I have all of you in there telling me that, and I'll read that out. The best story that you liked for 2021, the worst story that you hated in 2021 that you want to wipe it off of the map. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Look, when Amy Brandt, happy New Year to you too, Amy. Welcome aboard. Today I said, I don't really know what I'm going to do for the show today. I didn't really have any videos. I didn't want to do any interviews for today. It's sort of the last day of the year, and I said I kind of want to leave it open for whatever. I have 2 stories, of course. I always have a story to tell them in case people come here and they said, well, I don't really want to be the one driving the conversation, Egberto. So you go ahead and drive it. I have 2 solid stories that I want to talk about. But before I talk about these stories, I want to hear if you guys want me to say anything else. So Paul, best story, worst story. Lee Grant, best story, worst story. Melanie, worst story, best story. Norman Reynolds, best story, worst story. Also Rose Williams, Maywood, Amy Brandt. Let me hear it. Let me hear it. We got a lot of people on YouTube already. Go ahead and please click thumbs up. Say, hey, we love being here and we want to let that algorithm do its thing. And as well as on Facebook Live, let's go ahead and give a hi up there. Twitch, welcome aboard my Twitch folks, and my what is the other one? Twitter Live, and I think the Twitter Live appears on what is it? LinkedIn. I think it's on LinkedIn also. So I'm in LinkedIn Live, so we should be streaming on LinkedIn as well. I haven't looked at LinkedIn recently to see how that looked. Norman Reynolds says, best story, the vaccine is available. What's the worst story? We want to have the ones you want to remember and the ones you want to forget. So let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's hear it before I go into my soliloquy. Para ver qué más vamos a hacer. Those of you that are listening on podcasts, I want to hear from you guys too, because what I'll do is when you guys write it in or text it in or email it in, I'm going to go ahead and write a blog about it. So why don't everybody... You know what? If you're listening on podcast, I need a favor. If you are listening on podcast, go ahead and send your best and worst to info@politicsdoneright.com. I'll do a spreadsheet and put those guys out there. Again, Best and worst. Tom C says, oh, Norman comes with his worst story is January 6th. Tom C says, best story, Joe Biden becomes president. Worst story, Trump still owns the Republican Party. Got that. Rose Williams also says, best story is definitely vaccine. All right, what's your worst story, Rose? And wait a minute. Melanie Keelan says, 6/1/21, insurrection worst. The best is to have found a community here and to keep on keeping on. Girl, I love you, Melanie Keelan. That is the best. You know, earlier today I sent out a newsletter. And for those of you who haven't signed up for my newsletter, please just go to I'll get the link as we go on. Because I sent out a newsletter, and that is one of the things that I said. One of the things with all the tribulations that I went through this year, one of the great things was having a community, you know, and you know, people talk about community, online communities, and as if it's some sort of a vague thing, not understanding that an online community can be just as powerful as an in-flesh community, especially in these times. And I tell you what, you guys have been to die for during the pandemic. You guys have been to die for during all that we've gone through this year. I'm trying to see if I have a sign up for newsletter link on the page. I thought I did, but if I don't, shame on me that I don't have a readily available and something that you can see right away that says sign up for our newsletter. And it seems like that's a detriment on my site. I'm going to fix that tonight. All right. But anyhow, what I'll do is I'll give you also my Substack, a Substack newsletter to sign up for, because I give you guys kudos all the times in our newsletter, because we need to give you guys that kudos all of the times. Anyway, to sign up for the Substack letter, go to egberto.substack.com, egberto.substack.com. And that was one of the newsletter. The other newsletter, I'll tell you, later on as we go on with the program. Okay, keeping on. Haiku333 says, worst story, Tucker Carlson. Best story, Egberto Willies. I love you, Haiku. What can I say? Rose Williams says, sorry for your loss. Yes, I hear you, to Paul Fleming. All right, Paul Fleming. Best story was that I made a commercial for a company that I take medication for. It will air nationally. The worst, of course, is the passing of my eldest son. Paul, I remember the day it happened and you brought it to the community, and the community did the best they could to comfort you. I know it's the worst story. My worst story of this year was my daughter getting her second stroke. My absolute best story of this year is that she's on the path to recovery. And as you can see, it touches nothing political. It's just human. And I know you, and I feel for you. I was right at that point with you, Paul, because that is where I feared I was as well. But you have us, you have the community to help make you whole, brother. Second best is Erin on Politics Done Right. Oh, I love you, Paul. Thank you. That touches the heart. That touches the heart. Tom C, I got your story in, Tom. Let's see. Melanie Keelan says, insurrection was the worst. The best is to have found a community here and to keeping on. Thank you. Love you, Melanie, for saying that. And Alistair seconds Melanie's motion. Yes, Melanie. But what's your worst story, Melanie? I'd love to hear that. I mean, to Alice Waters, I'd love to hear. Continuing. Lee Grant says, best story, Jordan Peterson on PDR, keep free speech alive. Oh, thanks, Lee. Like I tell you, whether I agree with it or not, everybody has a voice on PDR. And putting Jordan Peterson here, I wanted other people to hear the way people think and his thought process, and I wanted to be able to refute that. And I hope that you saw that I refuted him very respectfully, though I completely disagree with his tenets. Paul Fleming says, I love you all for your support, and that's why I'll always be here. And you know what, Paul? And that's why through all the tribulations, I said, Politics Done Right, the community that we built, must go on. So thank you guys. And, you know, we'll be here. We'll be here. Alistair says, worst, my kiddos here in Conroe, Texas are ostracized for masking up. Your kids, Alistair Waters, will be heroes when this is all over. You would have beaten peer pressure, and it will be, when all this hoopla and this craziness is over, those people who didn't abide by peer pressure, you will be the winners. I'm telling you, look, we've gone through these kinds of things before. And the easy thing is always to jump on the bandwagon with what's popular or whatever. But the bad thing is keeping on. And my beautiful daughter is online. Worse, my stroke. Best, I'm still here and got to have my fam bam in DC. Her fam bam is her dad and her mom. But so yes, let me tell you, and just to personalize this the best, I want you guys to understand this. There's a lot happening to a lot of people all around this country. So I don't want to make my tribulations the worst, the best. I mean, I just feel so for Brother Fleming, you know, because like I said, I was right there. I was right there, brother. I was right there. When I tell Ashley how close it came, even Ashley sits down and said, Dad, I didn't know any of that because she was out of it. So Brother Fleming was there with you, and we will be there with you, Brother Fleming. And we are here for you right here at Politics Done Right. Right here, we're family. So thank you guys. Anything else? Anybody else have some stories, man? Come on, let's get some stories. What else is... Oops, I got a feedback control here. Let me fix that. Let me turn this stuff down a little bit. It fixed it. All right. Yeah, come on, guys. Let me hear some other stories. Let's see. Replying. Exactly. Does she understand this? Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Prayers for your health. Thanks, Paul Fleming. Thank you for having thoughts on my daughter. Okay, what else have we got here? Okay, let's continue the show. I hope I don't. Ashley, prosperous and safe New Year for all. Yes, thank you, Ashley. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Haikoop says, bless you, Ashley. All right. The story today, and let me go ahead and see if I can pull it up without getting too many drop characters. Actually, I think I got most of that fixed, to tell you the truth, guys. And you folks tell me, hey, make sure to... When you guys tell me something is up and wrong, I go look it up and find it right away. Okay, let me get to the story. The first one I want to do is it happened right here in Texas. And I want you guys to read this story with me. Let me put it on the screen if I can get it on the screen. I hope I may have to go recalibrate it like I did yesterday, but that's okay. I'll do it. I'll have to go recalibrate again, configure. Let's go ahead, Texas team applauded, and I think that's going to bring it in. And there we go. Ahí está, mis amigos. I love Peter Hortis. You know, you see him on MSNBC all of the times. But I always liked him for his honesty, for how he portrayed. But I want to read you this. Texas team applauded for giving what Big Pharma refuses. A patent-free vaccine to the world, developed here in Red Country, at Baylor, here in Texas. I don't know if it's at Baylor. It's one of the medical centers places. Let's read. We're not trying to make money. We just want to see people get vaccinated. A small team of Texas researchers is being hailed for developing an unpatented COVID-19 vaccine to share with the world without personal profit, and some advocates asking, if they can do it, this small company can do it, why can't Big Pharma as well? Dubbed the world's COVID vaccine, the inoculation formerly called COVAX is an open source alternative to Big Pharma's patent protected vaccines. Instead of being produced for profit, that shot could ultimately be manufactured around the world and made cheaply available to all without governmental or private legal retribution. Common Dreams reported this week that COVAX, developed jointly by Texas Children's Hospital, Houston Baylor College, and the Indian pharmaceutical company Biological E Limited, was authorized for emergency use in India amid a surge in infections driven by the highly contagious Omicron variant. Texas Children's Hospital says the new vaccine is at least 90% effective against the SARS-CoV-2 virus and 80% or more effective against the Delta variant. We're not trying to make money, Peter Hotez, who led the Texas Children's Hospital team, told the Washington Post. We just want to see people vaccinated. This is big. You hear me rail against the evils of unfettered capitalism, the evil of what Milton Friedman did when Milton Friedman says, executives of companies, you have absolutely no moral responsibility to people. Your only responsibility is to the shareholder. You are there to uphold shareholder value, nothing else. And we got the Moderna vaccine, we got all these other vaccines developed. And by the way, they were not developed just by these private companies. They don't take risks. These vaccines had their genesis. The mRNA vaccines had their genesis with your money, with the money from the taxpayer. That's where it started. Private sector don't take risks. They don't. Don't let them fool you with all that crap about if we don't charge these exorbitant fees for drug prices that somehow innovation will end. Dr. Hotez proves that otherwise. You know, I'm an engineer. Bruce is a scientist. Norman is an engineer. And I have other engineers and scientists and other folks in the house right now, on our screen right now. We don't innovate to get $1 billion. We don't innovate because we want to get filthy rich. We innovate because we innovate. We see when I stayed up at 3, my wife could tell you, for over 10 years, I probably got 3 hours of sleep on average a day, developing ComDRV, the product my product. And it wasn't because I thought I was going to get rich. It was because I loved it. I loved innovating. Yes, it's going to pay the bills. And eventually I said, yes, eventually it'll get us a house, etc., etc., etc. But engineers, doctors, good doctors, not the ones that are in it for profit only, engineers, scientists, we love to innovate. That is why an atomic bomb could have been created in Brazil, in China, in Russia, and all these places. Even though they have different systems. Communists, capitalists, socialists, all these different systems. Innovators innovate. But in a capitalist system, we take advantage of everybody to make those who create nothing wealthy. And when I say create nothing, that's what I mean. People say, oh, but look at El Señor Elon Musk. He's so smart. Elon Musk, of course, is smart. I don't want to take away anything from Elon Musk. I don't want to take away anything from Jeff Bezos. I don't want to take away anything from Bill Gates. They are all, if you take an IQ based on an American IQ, their IQ is better than a lot of people, but it's not the best. There are a lot of people with higher IQs who work for them, and they are the ones who innovate. And they didn't say, I need to have billions to innovate. They said, I just want to create. I love creating. That's it. So the lie is that somehow we need to pilfer the American people in order for us to create something. Yes, we're going to be at the halfway market. I love you, Paul. I'm going to come and do my ask in a little bit, but let me kind of finish this thought. Love you guys. Let me finish this thought because I'm going to try to get Hortis on the show. I am going to, it's interesting because I got when the guy in New York, his counterpart in New York, wrote a book. His publicist sent us the stuff to interview, and I wasn't particularly interested in that one. I knew Hortis was working on something, but I didn't know Hortis was coming out grant free. Okay, I didn't know. I mean patent free. If I could find this guy and just give him a big hug and just say, you made my point, brother. You made my point. You made my point. You made not my point. You made our points. Because that's how we feel. I know even Lee Grant, my brother conservative, feels that way. So that is where we're at. That is where we're at. Let me get to a few messages, then I'm going to go do my ass. So let's get back. I left you guys for a while. Paravet. Okay, coming on. We have Puffin says, good on them for making open source vaccination. Paul Fleming says, this would be the ultimate win for the world worthy. Let me put, for the world, for the world. I need to go before. Paul was saying something else before. Paul said, prayers for your health. Thank you, Fleming. I'm going down there. Ashley wishes everybody a prosperous and safe new year for all. Rose Williams says, nephew currently intubated in... Oh, my God. Sorry to hear about your nephew, Rose. Let's just hope all is well. Let's will all is well for your nephew that's intubated right now, Rose. Rose also says patent free. Whoa. High Coop says, oh no, Rose. Paul Williams says, Fleming says, this would be the ultimate win for the world worthy of the Nobel Peace Prize. You know something? Paul? We need to start a petition. HOTES for Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, I don't know what kind of prize would it be. You have Nobel Peace Prize. Would it be a Nobel Peace Prize? Yeah, why not? Puffin says, good on them for making open vaccine source. Puffin says, whoa, actual humans making vaccines. Yes. Peggy, look, let me tell you something, Puffin. Even the mRNA vaccines, they were made by humans too. It's just the people who owned them. Remember we talked about antiseptic slavery? Everybody else they created it, but they have nothing to do with how it's marketed and how it goes out there. That's the antiseptic slavery part, brother. That's the antiseptic slavery part. Puffin says, good on them for making it open source. Peggy Lopez says, Colorado wildfires are causing stress to my friends who were burned out in the Paradise Fire. Oh my God. The Paradise Fire just wiped out everything. We're living in Red Bluff, California, incorrectly thought we were safe here because it's winter. Peggy, keep us informed as far as how you're doing. I trust that all is going to be well. Because I understand that there's supposed to be a weather system coming over, I hope. Puffin says, I hope we either nationalize or bankrupt Pfizer. Hey, I'm with you. High Coop says, anti-cap vax. Puffin says, we made food for fire evacuees last night. Blessings and good luck to your friends. Oh, Puffin, thank you for doing that benevolent, altruistic thing. Important for us to support our folks. Peggy Lopez says, sounds like the 100th monkey theory has worked with the need for COVID vaccines. Yes. Puffin, Black Plague killed feudalism. Trump virus kills capitalism. They're fighting like hell though, Puffin. They're fighting like hell. We have to keep the pressure on. Don't Look Up or whatever that movie was. I don't remember the name of the movie. But if you take a look at it, the brainwashing to make people think that absent this form of capitalism, that somehow we go to holy hell. They actually mentioned that in the movie. They didn't quite say it that way. But remember when they went in that movie to mine that rock, that asteroid that was coming to Earth to kill the Earth, and they had the necessary tools to veer it off course, but they found out, oh, this meteor has rare earth, several $1 trillion of rare earth in it. So let's go ahead and let's break it up, let it fall to earth in pieces. It'll create tsunamis and kill a few people. But for those few people's death, capitalism, We'll make a lot of money for the rest of us. Not really, it's not for the rest of us, it's for the rest of the capitalists. Understand that that is the modus operandi. Understand that's the modus operandi. Puffin says, I read that one. Omicron variant, aka the flu. Paul Fleming says, this would be a win for humanity worthy of the Nobel Prize. Agreed. Let's see what else we got here. Para ver. Coming down. Nationalize Tesla. I don't know what the grounds for nationalization of Tesla would be, so I can't really hang with that one. I can justify the pharma company since they're completely dependent. Well, you know what? Actually, no, my argument would not be consistent if I denied you that Tesla thing if it served a public good. I got to rethink that one. Puffin. You may be onto something there. Let me rethink that one. Paul Fleming says, we're at a halfway mark at the show, and yes, we are. I'm going to take up I tell you what, since we're at the halfway mark, I'm going to hold up. My next stuff is, thanks, Egberto, good luck. That's where I'm stopping with this. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring up or say, folks, if you are on YouTube right now, I ask you so kindly, last day of the year, bring us in whole. We need a lot more people to sign up on YouTube. Please click that join button. Do the favor and say, I am going to support Politics Done right now on YouTube. That's one option. Likewise, those who have the wherewithal can say, you know what? Instead of supporting him on YouTube, maybe, just maybe, I'll give the support for Politics Done Right on Patreon. Actually, you see, I need to have these three different sources. If one goes down, you have the other one, etc. So you can support us as well at politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. For those on podcast, Patreon is spelled P-A-T-R-E-O-N. P as in person. A-T-R-E-O-N. Patreon. And the best way, of course, is always either a one-time contribution or a series of contribution. You can do that on PayPal as well. At PayPal, politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. Politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. Please consider going to our store. It's getting cold. Get yourself a hoodie, get yourself a mask, get yourself a hat, a t-shirt, so that you can help us promote Politics Done Right. That would be a great thing. And by promoting Politics Done Right, you don't only bring us more people, but you also bring us some more income that we can do that. I want your books. Let me tell you how to get the books, Senor Puffin. You can get the books right here at Amazon, politicsdoneright.com/books. politicsdoneright.com/books. Let me tell you quickly about the books and why I wrote them. First book, I wrote during that Obamacare big time debate and people didn't quite understand things. So therefore, I wrote As I See It, Class Warfare, the Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. I spoke about patents. I spoke about how the farmers are getting screwed by patents, how people are getting screwed by the drug companies, and how it actually works. I explained all of that in an easy to understand manner in As I See It, Class Warfare, the Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. In the second book, which is How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors. You know, after you know all this information, you have to be able to communicate, right? How do you communicate with everybody? Not only the people that agree with you, but the people that disagree with you. Are they stupid? No, they're not. They're just informed otherwise. So what do we do? In How to Talk to Your Right, as I say, in that other book, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, we talk about, I tell a few stories about how I've reached over to the right and been successful quite a high percentage of times. And even if they don't agree 100%, they see where you're at, and they no longer consider you that crazy liberal or what Fox News would want people to believe about you. So that was the second book. It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors. The third book is How to Make America Utopia. Okay, we understand the problems that we have in society right now in America and elsewhere. We've created a modal to speak to other people that don't necessarily agree with us. So how do we change it? What do we want? What do we dream for? What do we aspire for? How to make America utopia. How to make America your utopia. How to take away the economy from those who rigged it. So that is the whole series in effect. I love that, Puffin. Live up to the American dream. I love the way you say that. So please go to politicsdoneright.com. I'll put that link in there again. politicsdoneright.com/books. And that's how you can get those books. Hey, if you have the wherewithal, get all three. You'll help us out. I'm just being frank. You get the books, you're helping us be able to continue doing this. You go ahead and support us at PayPal, you're helping us to keep doing this. And it's a new year, difficult. I'm here in DC, gonna be here for a while, so hey, help us out and continue doing this the way we should. All right, let me continue with the show and start answering and talking to you all again. You guys generally make for always make for a great show. All right, we are at the halfway mark of the show. Thank you for reminding me, Paul. So today it was Paul's time to make sure I stayed on schedule. Thank you, Brother Paul. Let's see, let's continue. The duck that quacks. First rule of the duck, never waste a wish on trampolini. Puffin says, arrest Zuckerberg for genocide and treason too. Lee Grant says, he asks a question, American IQ? Yeah, Lee Grant, American IQ. I think you're wondering I think the reason you put that question there is because I qualified IQ in America. And the reason I did that is that I took an IQ test. And by the way, I did very, very well on the IQ test. But let me tell you what's the kicker. I'm not going to tell you my numbers, but it's pretty high. I'm not going to tell you the number. But here's the kicker. If I brought somebody from somewhere else that didn't know a saucer worked with a cup, or there are several items within that IQ test that is specific to the American culture, right? Or I should more say Western culture. You would get a diminished IQ based on that test. So there ought to be, and by the way, I don't have the answers on how to really measure intelligence. To tell you the truth, what I've seen from what I know of people is intelligence is pretty much even keel. There are some people that understand things in different ways than others, but as far as intelligence, I don't exactly know what it is, right? Because I don't know how to fix certain things that people find easy, and I find things that are very easy that some people find hard. So I have modified the way I think about intelligence over the years, mostly because, again, of what I've seen over the decades of my life. All right, let's see. Rose Williams says, time flies. Yes, it does. The duck that quacks says, Tesla is nationalized. They survive by selling off mandated government pollution credits. It's amazing. People don't get that. They look and they say, oh, Tesla is so profitable. They don't understand what. In other words, it is amazing that you get paid not to pollute, right? So a company, since you don't pollute, another company that pollutes can say, hey, guy, I'll give you some credits to use your non-pollution stuff from building a car that don't pollute. It is a capitalist, crazy thing. But that's what they do. Haiku says, EQ is more important than IQ when it comes to vaccines and the virus, in my opinion. I can't disagree with that. Nationalize and Musk in jail. Norman says, suggestion. The left has a bunch of silver bullets but no guns to deliver it. If the left had an equivalent to MTG, the mainstream media would be all over it, painting all Democratic members of the government with the same paint. The mainstream media gives the GOP the moniker as a force of nature, and the left must lead, capitulate, and somehow get their message out without having a mainstream media partner to get it out. Norman, yeah, I hope everybody listen to what Norman just said there. Because if everybody listens to what Norman says there, I would have no problem whatsoever getting support to keep a private entity like Politics Done Right, or KPFT, or Daily Kos, or Op-Ed News, or Common Dreams. All of us are there every day. We're there researching, finding news, interpreting the news in a particular way, and at the same time saying, guys, please support us. Please support us. But still, many don't have a problem. Say, okay, I'm going to go give $300 to the cable company who's there to mislead me. And I'm not telling you to leave the cable company, but I'm saying it would be nice. It would be nice if we could get that steady stream where people say, okay, I like Egberto, TYT, and Daily Kos. Somebody else says, I like Op-Ed News, I like, but all these progressive rags that need your support. And I say, okay, I'm going to give a little stipend to each of these instead of commercials to the other guys. That would be like outstanding, and we would get more news out there. And what Norman says about having to have the gun to deliver, because the Republicans have the gun to deliver, is called the mainstream media. Biden's economy is better than Obama's economy. It's better than Reagan's economy. It's better than Trump's economy in the speed in which it recovered. All of that is true. And we are wondering if by doing that and having a 6% inflation temporarily, what's wrong? And you know why that occurs? The mainstream media allows the Republicans to dictate the narrative. It's amazing. Continuing, see my rap regurgitators, Marjorie Taylor Greene, verse. Okay, Puffin, you're going to have to give us a link for that. Nanette Birdsmith, or Nobel Prize in Medicine and Science. Agreed? Hell, give them a Nobel of something. Rose Williams says, refuse to take the vaccine, never sick, robust, young 30s. So he refused the vaccine and now he's on a ventilator. I feel for him. When it comes close to home, it's even worse. I have relatives that they said they haven't taken the vaccine, but I do wonder. I think they took the vaccine and just not telling anybody. Puffin, scientists at Pfizer are good, but CEO needs jail. Agree. Tom C. says, New Year's resolution for Democrats. End the filibuster, pass voting rights bill, pass Build Back Better, keep majorities in the House and Senate, bring to justice all seditionists responsible for 1621 insurrection. We have to do something, Tom, because Manchin and Sinema likely are not going to budge. What we have to do is start campaigning and creating a narrative of the plutocracy, the corporatocracy, the oligarchy having their tentacles in both parties. And as such, given the reason why we have to, first of all, primary a lot of these people in the 2022 election, because there are going to be a lot of open seats anyway, and go ahead and win that way. We have to do something. We can't keep the status quo. You know, for a long time I've been telling a lot of people, look, we just have to take what we can get. No, but if we constantly have to take what we can get, eventually that leaves a particular sect of our population always wanting, because we never get to the poor, we never get to the lower middle class. That is who we have forsaken decade after decade. The lower middle class and the poor has been forsaken over and over again. And that is why many times I've held a lot against some of my brother baby boomers, etc. Because they haven't seen how much they have gotten and how much it's not afforded to many of the poor, many of the millennials, many of the younger Gen Xers. And we have to start being empathetic to those things. Carl Foster says, Pfizer are holding back the vaccine for TDS, probably. Courtney the SLP, Happy New Year, PDR Posse. Welcome aboard, Courtney. Hope to see you when I get back to Houston, Texas. Anyway, let's see. Rose says, huge climate change warning. Yes, there's that ridge. I don't know if you saw what's happening with the ridge that's protecting a whole big chunk of ice in the north. If that sucker falls, we're talking not only sea level rise, but at that point we're talking tsunami. All right, Haikub says the supreme stench of an illegitimate court. That came directly from, what's her name again? Our brave Latina. I just want Musk in jail for denying virus forcing workers, says Puffin. And Paul Fleming says, my youngest brother caught COVID, not vaccinated. My daughter caught COVID, vaccinated. My daughter recovered quickly, but my brother is still suffering, but will live. I hope you got the message. Courtney says, Gloria Miller says, don't get your flu shot. Dr. Raymond Francis, RNC, MIT grad, don't get your flu shot. What is that supposed to mean, my dear Gloria Miller? Let's see what you're saying here. I don't want to judge. Let's see. I'm looking over a history of vaccination for smallpox. I'm amazed to learn of the terrible deaths from the vaccination, amputations of arms and legs, tetanus. Dr. L.C. Carter. Gloria, I'm going to see if you have some more message in there if you're just trying to make a point, because I'm scared to see where you're going. Puffin says, I had car repairs, but we'll have more money soon. Great, great. Gloria Miller says, Dr. Killard, medical officer of health, stated Vaccination question. It cannot be denied that vaccination caused in the aggregate very considerable injury to health. It cannot be denied that vaccination saves lives, Gloria. It cannot be denied that vaccination saves lives. If it kills a few because of an adverse reaction, think about what that person who had that adverse reaction, absent the vaccine, they would likely be gone anyway. And I'm not trying to be facetious about it. But if you can, with a straight face, come onto a program and try to advocate folks not vaccinated after all the evidence is out there, I don't know what to tell you, my friend. I don't know what to tell you. Send the mug link, please. Okay, I'm going to send the mug link right now. As I search for the mug link, I will send you. Oh, you know what? The mug link is right there on YouTube as well. So let me go to YouTube and get you that. The link to, I tell you what, guys, I have two stores, one local and one on YouTube. And you guys can go ahead and use our store at YouTube because we need some traffic at that store anyway. So let me go ahead and get that for you right now. The store at YouTube where you can get the mugs, everything that we talk about, you can get the mugs and everything at YouTube. So let me go ahead and pull that up for you as we speak. Por favor, espérame un poquito. Those that you're on what is it? Not Facebook. Those of you that are on podcast, meaning you're listening to it after the fact, you can find it. You can find that into the link, but I am going to get that for my posse right now. I should have had it. But what can I say? Oh, I have it somewhere else. What am I thinking? You know, when you're talking and trying to do several things at one time, sometimes it's like, oh, why can't you find it now? Okay, here is the PDR Posse mug designed by Bridge MCP. Let me get the link to you guys right now. There is the link. Try it and let me know if it works, guys. Let me know if it works because I haven't tested that in a while. So please go ahead and try that link. Let me continue with the questioning because you guys have, whoa, it's a lot. All right, I'm continuing. I just put the link in the field, guys. The link is in there. Let's see, Gloria will need that hole. Let's see, Peggy Lopez says, warning label on a box of surgical masks. This product is an ear loop mask. This product is not a respirator and will not provide protection against COVID-19 and other virus contaminants. Ooh. Which one did you buy? You bought the wrong one. Get an N95. All right, let's see. What did I miss? I am still searching to find the area that I need to come into. All right, here we go. If new COVID vaccine is somehow open for all without a patent, can some other capitalist steal that recipe for the vaccine and shut it off from the world? No, they can't. Because the person who owns the copyright of that vaccine has already placed it into the public domain. Now, remember, let's give an example with insulin, right? Insulin, I believe, is over 100 years. It's in the public domain. Why is insulin so high for something that the government paid for a long time ago? It's something that is out of patent. The reason why is the delivery system. They've created new delivery system, time delivery for insulin, new patent. Something that delivered insulin in increments of 3 hours before another corpuscle bust open, another patent. That is how these companies get around it. And instead of the government putting rules onto the chemical is the same, delivery system may be patented, but if you're patenting a delivery system for a chemical already out there, give us some rules to prevent the truth of the matter is we should simply nationalize the delivery system. Because it's for health reasons, okay? But hey. Rose Williams says, don't forget, us crazy leftists are in favor of the same policies that Eisenhower was. We are so extreme. It's amazing. Exactly. Eisenhower says the biggest problem was going to be the defense industrial complex. And guess what? The biggest problem was the defense industrial complex. Tyrone Jackson said, vaccines, wow, time flies. Vaccines contain mercury, formaldehyde, aluminum. Not all of them do. Okay, not all of them do at all. And again, they save lives. You guys can come on here and talk about vaccines and try to negate vaccines. It won't work. Nanette Birdsmith says, Willie's Team Ashley Strong, keep up the great recovery. We'll make sure I'll be here helping her with her recovery. So we are going to make sure to keep giving you good news, Nanette. Marianne Berry may be in heaven, but Herman Cain isn't. Puffin, that's not nice, Puffin. Come on now. A lot of cut and paste trolls here today. It doesn't matter. Look, even the cut and paste trolls, when they see a formidable posse like you guys, don't ever not believe it has an effect on them. Recessive effects. You know, I mean, it has an effect. Don't worry about it. Let's see. Let's continue ignoring Tyrone Jackson and Gloria Miller because they're a bastion of misinformation. So let's go to the Duck That Quack, says 19D. Even Warren called Musk a freeloader. Yes, he is a freeloader. Lee Grant says she speaks with forked tongue. Well, I don't know. You know, let me tell you what I admire about Warren. Warren was once a staunch Republican. And when she had her babies and she understood what Republican orthodoxy stood for relative to women, relative to healthcare, she became one of the staunchest progressives. And you know, she reason why she's a Democrat is because progressives are allowed to live in the Democratic Party. There was a time when progressives could reside in the Republican and Democratic Party. I yearn for those days. I would love to have progressives in the Republican Party. And I would vote for progressives in the Republican Party against a conservative opponent in the Democratic Party. Remember how we got civil rights now? Republican progressives. Thank you, guys. Unfortunately, that doesn't exist anymore. Puffin, I know all Trumpsters are racist. That's not true. All Trumpsters are not racist. They are confused, but they're not all racist. Let's be careful. You know what I want to stop doing, and I'm trying to teach myself that as well. People can have racist proclivities and not necessarily be racist. And I learned a few things. I watched the show that I did with what's her name? Forget her name, but just look up the show that I did on racist about last week. And check it out because she gave the good definition of what a racist is. All right, let's continue here. Let's see, monthly booster shots for anyone with a vaccine. Your immune system 5 to 6 times weaker when it comes to COVID-19 every time. I tell you what, Gloria, I normally don't block people, but I understand how the internet works with these messages. So for the first time, other than blocking a bot, I am going to block a person. That's you, Gloria. You're blocked. And also, I will do the same to Tyrone. These are two complicated times for us to, for somebody to come to my thread and see you see it. Let me explain why I did this, because you know I don't block anybody. Let me tell you why I'm doing this. One of the reasons I write so much and I put so many blogs out there with truth, research, truth, and good opinions is because we need to populate the internet space with our thing. What a lot of bots and clones and indoctrinated people from the right do is they do the same, but so they're paid and they come all over and put all this misinformation in so that when somebody search for Egberto now, Gloria Miller's fallacies will also come alongside all of your truths. So I have to try to minimize that sometimes. I want to keep the conversation open. But when it comes to people like what Miss Gloria Miller and Mr. Jackson is trying to do, I have to protect the space. I have to protect the space. Okay, let's see. YouTube deleted my video of a report about Dr. Bauer. Well, you know how YouTube does a lot of times. Let's see. Zappa was a jerk. Rose Williams says, each one teach one is an African-American proverb. What does Maoism have to do with it? Gloria is a bot too. Yeah, I got rid of Gloria and I got rid of Tyrone. And again, I don't normally do that. I hate doing that. Betty White passed before she reached 100 by 3 weeks. By 3 weeks. Not being a TV watcher makes me free on my limited income to support those I believe are telling the truth and doing good work. Thank you, Egberto. And thank you, Peggy. I do appreciate you. I do appreciate your support. Masticator says implementation of communism required tyranny. First of all, I don't know what you mean by communism, but please tell me how that becomes tyranny. See, all these words are used freely. Explain yourself exactly what you mean. Rose William, 10 feet sea level rise worldwide. Yep, if that thing breaks off the shelf. All right, we've got Nanette says he has saved hundreds of thousands. Paul Fleming said, yes, you're right. Paul Fleming says, I got it, sorry. Masticator says, my wife got COVID unvaccinated, mild, and over in 4 days. 5 of my vaccinated and boosted friends have gotten Omicron, and it's not mild. Wow, Masticator. You had an unlucky person who was vaccinated and got it, and you had a lucky person who was unvaccinated. Let me tell you what I do think, though. A lot of us have had COVID, we just didn't know it. And, I remember a couple of years ago when my mother came, we got sort of a very bad flu-like symptom, just like they describe COVID now. And neither one of us knew anything, right? We just stayed away from my wife who had lupus. And after a few days, it was all over. I don't know. I could have had it. I don't know. Never did that test to determine. There was no test then. Okay. Wow. You guys took up the show today. Leah, I will report to Sibiris. Hi, Coop says, why are 800,000 Americans dead if it smiled according to your anecdotes? Not. Craig Lee says the link doesn't work. Oh, the link doesn't work? Let me see. Let me go ahead and try the link myself and see if it comes up. I'm bringing that link up myself to see if it works and bring up the... Actually, I just brought up the mug. The link that I put there brought up. Make sure you click on it from here or copy it and paste it. But I just tried the link and it's working fine, sir. For the cup. Let's see what else we got. The duck that... Egberto, I came in late. Anti-vaxxers are now bullying children. Thugs won and all. Yeah, all we need to do is protect them. That's what we need to do. Roberto Luis me dice, Feliz Año Nuevo a Politics Done Right. Muchísimas gracias, mi hermano. Lou just wished all of us a happy new year. The Duck That Quacks says, yes, they're very good. Yes, that was a very good show. I thank you for liking that show. Maybe they aren't all actively intentionally racist, but they are actively intentionally supporting terrorism and threatening democracy. Puff and I agree. Let's see what Courtney is happy that we got rid of Gloria and Tyrone. Masticator, I admire Elizabeth Warren because she is so brave. It takes courage in these days and age to be wholly white and claim to be an Indian. I admire that kind of courage. That isn't funny, but I understand that you would make a joke like that. I think the woman does have, I'm not going to tell you what my DNA result says because I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to appropriate or do anything like that, right? But suffice it to say, none of us are pure. None of us are pure. Just remember that. Rose Williams says, another one of my nephews has COVID also, fully vaccinated. Before he got tested, thought he had a mild cold. Name one communist government that is not a tyranny. I don't know any communist government. I don't know. Could you name me a communist government? USSR wasn't a communist government. They call themselves communists. China is not a communist government. They call themselves communists. They're not. You see, and that is the problem with argument about socialism, communism, capitalism, etc., right? We don't have honest discussions. If you were to look altruistically at what communism is, a lot of people would kind of like it. Socialism is a migration as well. A lot of people would like it, But not what we define. And by the way, I don't call myself a communist, a socialist, or I call myself a democratic socialist. But I don't go ahead giving labels because I like free enterprise. I want to own my own store, my own business like everybody else too. What I don't want is for me to create something and somebody to monopolize on what I have created. And that is what capitalism does. It's that simple, right? You don't understand capitalism as theft until it has stolen something from you. And I gave the story in my book about Jeff Bezos. I have a direct relationship with Jeff Bezos and one click that I was unable to turn into a product. Just telling you, patent system. All right. Egberto, for Politics Done Right, have to remain with the truth of imperative information to widen our thinking, expansion of great humanity and society. Muchísimas gracias, Roberto Luis, mi hermano favorito. All right. Puffin says, I like the post office socialism. I love the post office as well. Democratic socialist countries in Europe doing well. All of them did well. In fact, after the COVID, they didn't have people in bankruptcy. They didn't. But anyway, we're at 4:59. I can't believe the time flew and I didn't get a chance to get to the second story, but I love talking to you guys first anyway. Look, I want tonight, we're going to have a simple, per AP News, GOP is executing a slow motion insurrection by replacing nonpartisan election officials with Trump sympathizers in battleground states, including Michigan, anti-democratic power grab. Michigan is doing something even different. They are actually bypassing the governor who would normally have to sign something because they only need like 4% or something like that of a population to sign a petition. It's amazing. But anyway, let's do this one more time. Please remember, folks, get my books. I ask you so kindly. It helps us when you get our books. And you learn, and at the same time you learn, you're helping the program continue. That's politicsdoneright.com/books. And you can give us a helping hand as well at PayPal, politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. This is the last day of the year, so I'm going to take an extra minute and tell everybody here. Courtney SLP says, thank you, Egberto. Love to your Mrs. Willies and Ashley. Thank you so kindly. Paul Fleming says, mug is ordered. Thank you so kindly for ordering that mug, Paul. I want to speak from my heart directly to all of my PDR posse. People go around saying, I love you, I love you, I love you a whole lot. People go around saying, I care about you a whole lot. To many times, these are just words. I want to tell you guys, first of all, thank you. I've sent all of you, whether you are supporters, if you're here, you are a supporter. If you're sharing my stuff, you're a supporter. If you're buying my stuff, you're a supporter. If you're contributing, you are a supporter. We need you all. This isn't my task. This is our task. We are doing a small part in this entire web of things that have to get done. You are a part of it. Don't ever dare think that you don't matter, because all of us matter if we will empower ourselves and empower others. You allowing this platform, brothers and sisters, let me just tell you for real. You guys give me the wherewithal to have this platform. I thank you. More importantly, we've got to continue this. We got to get better. We got to get bigger. And some of you have to do it on your own as well. I want some of you to say, you know what, Egberto, can you kind of help me start up a thing like that? Because I want to figure out how to do X, Y, and Z. I'm here for you. Because we need to do a lot of this. We need to get change. And the change isn't going to come all the way from the top. You know, it's a cliche. It's not going to come from the top. We are going to make that change. Click that join button and become a member. Please, click that join button. Paul, order the mug, get the books, do all of that. But we are going to get this done. It's not going to take a year. It's not going to take 2 years. We're going to have backsliding and all of that. But don't ever let them take that goal away from you. Don't ever let them take away, make you feel impotent. Don't ever allow that. Go ahead and let's get it done together. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you know how I end this baby. As usual, I am what? Out! We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.